Welcome back to tonight's sad reality, where the only sad reality worse than the life we're living is probably this game, because I swear most of it's AI. The animations just don't work half the time. Some of the NPCs just like spawn out in the wilderness, and like this game is literally just full of all sorts of like random bugs. It's awful. But we're gonna be talking about tonight endurance. Why? I think it's a perfect time to talk about that, because I just got back from my second of three 10-hour in a row shifts. Tomorrow I'm also working open to close, which I'm so thrilled for, quite frankly. Um, it's nice. It's really funny too. Everyone's joking. They're like, so it's really convenient that our boss is like on vacation right now during one of our busiest weeks. Like today, as a total, I handled 191 transactions. The store, as a total, handled what 550 transactions. So, doing our math here, that's like over a third of the store passed through me before leaving the door if they bought something. I don't think that includes the stuff that we did online or whatever, so like, I guess that part doesn't really count. But point being, that is a lot. That is way more than it probably should be. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with the work I put in today. I'm not complaining about that anyways. In fact, I actually wanted to stay until I hit 200 and then leave, just to be the guy to do that, because there's something wrong with me, I guess. But, anyways, anyways, it's 1 in the morning again, and here we are recording one of these. What is this, you might ask? Stupid game. Kind of like what I do on a day-to-day basis, where it's just managing dumb stuff like people. People being the hardest thing to manage, honestly, because there's no telling when you have a dumb customer. And so we actually did a lot of training as well. We trained, several people that they've been part of the team at the store, but like not front-end team, if that makes sense. They're kind of like doing other things that aren't as important, but it's probably a good skill for them to have, especially with the holidays coming up, and just other things. But what does endurance actually like mean, really? You know, I mean, sure you can play around, screw around, do funny things for an hour. You know, I mean, I think a kitchen's probably the most enduring thing. Can you imagine putting up with Gordon Ramsay for like an hour, much less like 10 minutes? You know, it's crazy. Um, I don't think he's actually that much of a personality, we'll say, in real life. I'm guessing he's like more chill. It's just like putting on a show for an audience, you know, I get that, I understand that. It's YouTube, you know, welcome to YouTube. So, who's complaining? I'm complaining. Like one of the customers who was like, or I was like, I've got like 20, or I've got, what, I think I said 18 minutes till I leave, and they're like, you're not counting down, are you? I'm like, nope, I would never. Not in a million years. But I do enjoy my rest time. Although ironically, when I got home, I was like not really doing anything meaningful. I just kind of sat there watching YouTube videos, ate a Pop-Tart for dinner, and then screwed around with AI for a little bit. Good old Chat GPT doing things that I probably shouldn't be, but it was funny. Um, ooh, guilty admission, gosh. But I mean, such is life. Welcome being a 21-year-old, I suppose. So I feel like there's kind of these different perceptions of what exactly it means to be endurant. Like there was an eating competition on television the other day. It was Joey Chestnut, good old American war hero. The war being war on calories, or I don't know, the obesity epidemic. What am I saying at this point? Gosh. And bro just like downed like I think it was like 60 something hot dogs, maybe it was 90. I can't remember. It was just a ludicrous number of amount of food, like calories that no one man should consume. And he manages to do this in like literally a span of like a few minutes. I mean, I guess like 10 minutes or something. I'm probably way off because I wasn't paying attention to the TV. I was paying attention to like customers and everything running around. But for context, this did happen like several weeks ago, so that's also one of the reasons the details aren't super memorable. But hey, everyone takes the face value of what YouTubers say, and nobody else like double checks it. So leave a comment. Anyways, like for him, that's a lot of food, you know, like 90 something hot dogs. And for me, I'm thinking, okay, well, I can barely finish one slice of pizza some days. Like literally, if I could eat like a McDonald's kids meal some days and be fine. And that's just the way that I work. Kind of sad, but it is. Yeah, I'm never really the type to eat tons. And I can if it's like really good food. Like give me like a box like family size Cheez-Its, I will devour those. Also, am I gonna make this through there? I've like not been paying tons of attention. I need to start spamming these drinks, so we made it. We're good. Not the end of the world. Not yet, anyways. Speaking of the end of the world, though, my dad watched Fantastic Four, and he was like, "That wasn't bad. I enjoyed Superman more." And I'm like, "Yes, our Marvel stan finally on his knees." But also, like, people are just like, Superman's just better. I'm like, I can't argue with that. I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but I'm too busy working 10-hour shifts. Anyways, where's it going with that? So Joey Chestnut, that's like a ton of food, right? So endurance for him is probably a different thing from me, especially when it comes to food. That said, I could probably run a faster mile than him, just if I had to guess. Maybe he's super athletic and I'm totally wrong, but I could probably run a faster mile. I'm on the thinner side, and I have a build not necessarily for speed, but endurance, and I guess har talking about endurance. So I could probably do better than that category. Again, this is making a bunch of assumptions. So take everything I say as gospel. This is in fact the only way to perceive life is through the mouth of a YouTuber. This is satire. Shouldn't have to say that, but you know how the internet is nowadays. And Epstein files? What Epstein files? I never, what? Never happened. Okay, let's move on to something else, right? People that can hold their breath for a really long time, I know that's a competitive thing for some reason. It's like, hey, let's deprive the brain of oxygen for an extended period of time, and let's make that a competition. Sounds fantastic. Phenomenal idea. Just thank you for humans, right? Of evolution. I can probably hold my breath for about a minute, if I had to guess. I don't know what the average is. I play trumpet, so probably a little more than average. I don't know if 1 minute's an average or what. It's again 2 in the morning. I am just talking into a microphone, and for some reason, 1 or 2 people still watch these videos. Thank you for that 1 or 2 person. Leave a comment. Say I was here first, and I'll pin it, I guess. I don't care. I always thought those were stupid, but it's funny to look back and be like, oh hey, that guy really was there, you know? Like that guy. There was a stupid thing on Mr. Beast video like years and years and years ago before he fell off and lost his soul to Satan, the Lord of Darkness. And he was like, Mr. Beast, you remember me in the comments? And Mr. Beast was like, I do. And I'm like, is that fake or is it real? It's like, is it made out of cake? Is it fake? Is it real? And I'm like, it could be real. I don't put it past Jimmy to remember something kind of random like that. Say Jimmy like I'm talking to... We're buds, you know, Jimmy and I. Actually despise how many children slobber over his Feastables at the store. It's like all they buy, and it pisses me off to no end. I think I've talked about that in other videos. What's something else to endure? Learning something new, and that kind of brings me to today. So I had a coworker who had a bit of a bad experience. It was her first time on front-end working stuff, and she had a customer that was like kind of shitty, and that's life. It's funny too, I don't really swear around coworkers and stuff, and on the internet in general, I don't really do that either. It just happens sometimes, and I'm like, hey, if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, then take it back, you know? That's a general statement, I try not to. And this customer was, like, being really just weird, I guess. I don't know if women interact with each other differently, if this is, like, a social thing. Maybe I'm being a misogynist. But it just seemed like it was kind of 2 women butting heads, the lady and the cashier, and the lady in like who's trying to make a return, right? She just didn't really want to talk with her for some reason, and then as soon as the male manager walks over, she's like all fine, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And she'll attest to this as well. She was like, yeah, as soon as you know our coworker walked over them, not going to name, everything was fine and dandy. He kind of sucks up to people as well, to be fair. So I don't know why he does that. Like, I'm pretty sure my boss would be like, hey, don't just give people free stuff if they bully you. Like, that's not how the world works. That's kind of our... Welcome to the store policy, where we kind of just let people walk all over us, and... I don't know. There's 2 types of ways to do business. There's the type of, like, I'm going to make money, or I'm going to lose money, and some days it's one, some days it's the other. If you're successful, you're going to be making money. And at the end of the day, someone's got to be losing money. I mean, hopefully, at least they enjoyed the service anyways, or whatever they're buying. But yeah, that experience for her wasn't the best. And I can quite honestly imagine that she probably wouldn't want to go up there and do it again. And I'm just like, yeah, honestly, for customers, ironically, that I thought it was pretty tame. But for her, she was like not having it. She just kind of walked away from the customer at one point. It was like, hey, you deal with it. You're the manager here. You've more experience. I'm like, you know what? That is a very valid way of handling it. I will not criticize that. In fact, that's probably better than I would have done. My response to dumb stuff, I just stare him dead in the eyes and just don't say anything. And usually someone else, like one of my coworkers, will just break the silence and be like, okay, I'm gonna fix this. But I'm totally fine just sitting there, just not saying anything if they're being outrageous. Usually I'll try to work with people, but there's a certain point where it's just like, I know this is not going to end well for either of us, so anything you say can and will be used against you, so let's just not say anything at all. And it makes a lot of people really uncomfortable. But for me, I've endured that a lot. Sometimes I like being uncomfortable in the sense that it's like there's a power to that, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's just like the Freudian mindset. It's like, ooh, monkey see power, monkey need power. Which I don't think that's Freud at all. I think he was more focused on like penis envy. I remember there being a lot of really stupid things about Freud. By stupid, I mean haha, sex joke. But it's just like general psychology. Back in high school, like we were told not to read the textbook because there was a lot of sus stuff in it. But we're like, are we learning or are we not learning? So, anyways, I just think there are different types of endurance. And for me, it's kind of been a wild ride going through the past few days working 10-hour shifts. But I also realized that my tolerance for working for a long period of time has increased massively since I started working, which makes sense naturally. Um, the biggest indicator of that for me is like I felt like a 4-hour shift used to be long. And I would always offer to stay longer because I just liked hours, and quite frankly, I don't like being home with my parents. Yuck, ew, gross. But I would just do that, and it still felt long, but I'd make it happen. But when you get to the end of your shift, you're like, man, it wasn't that long. But while you're in the middle of it, you're like, oh, I still got another 2-3 hours left. And it's just something that kind of goes by fast. And the more 10-hour shifts you work, the more you're like, okay, well, it's not that bad. And it's like kind of the more you get used to it. It's like, what's a really personable, sociable example? Black tar heroin, for example, you use enough of it, and you're just like, oh man, I'm used to it. Don't do drugs, please, and thank you. I wonder if this video's gonna get flagged, because I've talked about all sorts of, like, awful things. Like, there's the Epstein joke, there was swearing, you know, I mean, it wasn't in the first 8 seconds, but, it's been a ride the past few days. And it's not been bad either, like, I've mostly enjoyed it, got to try new energy drink flavor. Alani came out with a new, it's like cotton candy flavor, and, my coworker didn't like it. I actually kind of liked it. She offered me a sip of her drink, and I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? I'm feeling extra fruity today, if that's the word we're gonna use. Definitely feels like if I'm saying stuff, it's just all over the place. And then eventually you reach your goal, and the day is over, you know? It's kind of funny, too. There's like a bit of a... It's like a rush, and then the day crescendo afterwards if you like music. And then you get home, and you're like, man, I feel like sleeping. But no, you can't. They'd just begun. You just got home. There's so many things you can do, like sitting in your bed, watching YouTube videos like I did for the rest of this. It's funny how that works. Anyways, I think that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for listening to tonight's sad reality. Thanks for listening to tonight's mad reality, because I'm sick in the head, and I find it funny to talk about these things. It's funny, I've been told that I get into like a mood, and then stuff just becomes like funnier, but then otherwise I'm more reserved. But if I'm by myself, I don't really care what I say. There's like a level of speaking to yourself in front of a microphone, you just kind of get used to it. So, welcome to being insane in the membrane. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your night. I'll see you in tomorrow's night's sad reality at the end of my third 10-hour shift in a row. And what's the opposite of Guten Tag? Guten night. Have a good rest of your night. Adios.